In a powerful speech at the Munich Security Conference, US Vice President JD Vance criticized European nations for their increasing attacks on religious freedom, suppression of free speech, and erosion of democratic values. The Vice President began his speech by offering prayers for the victims and those affected by a recent attack in Munich, in which an Afghan asylum seeker drove a car into a crowd. While the conference traditionally serves as a platform to discuss external security threats, JD Vance instead focused on the internal challenges facing European nations. He warned against the erosion of fundamental democratic principles and expressed his alarm at recent events that, in his view, undermine civil liberties. Vance cited several examples to support his concerns: the annulment of an entire election in Romania, EU Commission's efforts to curb free speech, Germany's crackdown on its own citizens for posting anti-feminist comments, and Sweden's conviction of a Christian activist for participating in Quran burnings. He also criticized the United Kingdom for its assault on basic religious freedoms. In particular, he highlighted the case of Adam Smith-Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and army veteran who was arrested for praying within 50 meters of an abortion clinic.
And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith-Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility.
The Vice President reaffirmed the new U.S. administration's commitment to protecting free speech. He urged European leaders not to fear dissenting voices, but instead to engage with the concerns of their citizens. He reminded the audience, quote, to believe in democracy is to understand that each citizen has wisdom and has a voice, end quote. He further said, quote, and if we refuse to listen to that voice, even our most successful fights will secure very little, end quote.
As Pope John Paul II, in my view, one of the most extraordinary champions of democracy on this continent or any other, once said, do not be afraid. We shouldn't be afraid of our people, even when they express views that disagree with their leadership. Thank you all. Good luck to all of you. God bless you.
Vance, who converted to Catholicism in 2019, concluded his speech by quoting Pope St. John Paul II, whom he described as one of history's greatest champions of democracy. In a direct appeal to the leaders of liberal European nations, he urged them, quote, do not be afraid, end quote. He emphasized that governments should not fear their people, even when citizens express views that challenge the prevailing leadership.